What up?
People
People
only listen to audio don't know what I do.
They have no idea what the shenanigans that happens with you, Joe.
Foolishness.
Joe, you're doing all sorts of stuff.
I know, he's just going
Hey, we're here. We're here to review and spoiler cast
all 50 years of Bond.
No,
Sam Smith.
sir.
We don't have that kind of time.
Not at all.
No.
But anyways, we're here to review our, well, not really review, but spoiler cast latest Bond film,
Our personal
Spectre.
review.
Our personal review. With our own personal way.
Feelings.
Yeah, share our feelings about Spectre. Yeah, I'm Jordan, one of the co-hosts of the show, and we got Carrie,
Booyah.
Luke,
What up?
and Joseph.
My name is Lovett. Joseph Lovett.
Ah, very good, very good. It's very festive of
Very
you,
creative.
Joe. Very festive. We're
Took
gonna
me a
get
while to think up that one.
Festive.
let's get right into it and let's talk about Spectre. We have limited time today, unfortunately. Joe, as usual, is on the clock. Joseph, we had to have you here. Joseph, you're the biggest James Bond fan of all of us. I can say that comfortably.
Am I the only one that's seen all of them multiple times, probably?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, the older ones I used to watch every time they had their marathons on, but I mean,
The Man with the Golden Gunathon? Was it?
Well, the ones like most of the Sean Connery films, I haven't seen many of his. I was more a Roger Moore person, and his played more. So
There's a lot to play.
yeah.
I have not even seen them all. I saw all the Sean Connery ones, and I haven't seen any Roger Moore ones, any of the Timothy Dalton one, or I think George Lazenby or whatever. And I've seen all the Pierce Brosnan one, all the Daniel Craig ones. So
What's that channel that does the marathons
I
of
think
it?
doesn't TBS.
Yeah, TBS used to
they
do it.
used to do it, but
Like
I
a
think
Bondathon?
It's like FX now. Does it?
Probably.
there's right issues now. It's all complicated.
I can
Of
thank whatever channel that is for pretty much most of my Bond watching.
Yeah, TBS used to run like around the clock stuff, but AMC's actually done a couple where they've had like about 6 of them or so.
I thought they did.
But the problem is Sony's rights recently. I think this was their last movie that they could do. I think it's up for sale. It's either this movie or the next one. I can't remember. So it's going to have a new production company. Probably Paramount or Warner Brothers are the top ones that are probably going to buy it. One of them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, this feels like almost kind of a goodbye, and in some way, we'll get to that. But anyways, this being the 4th of Daniel Craig movie, how excited were you about it, Carrie? I think you're kind of like, I'm probably the lowest of Bond fans amongst us. Maybe, I don't know. I'm probably right there with Luke. Somewhere around there, but I think you're above because you watched all the marathons when I was like back in the day. I remember being like, "Oh yeah, Carrie knows more about James Bond than me." So, are we excited about this one?
I was excited about this. Skyfall kind of turned it around for me. I didn't really care for Quantum of Solace, but I do feel like I need to give it another shot because I only watched it one time and I was like, So Skyfall was great for me though, and Spectre I feel was very, very well done.
Yeah. So going into it, like, I'm a fan of the Craig movies for the most part. Like, I remember back when the whole Craig movie started, some reason I wasn't too down with it. I was like, I was always the guy who was like, this is too serious. That's how same way I felt about Batman at first. Like, this is too serious. Like, going back to it, I went back and me and my girlfriend watched all the other 3 Craig movies. And yeah, I'm with Carrie. Going back to it, I think Quantum is definitely on the bottom there, but Skyfall was amazing. And going back to Casino Royale, being older, Casino Royale is fantastic.
I remember Christina. Casino Royale just like blew me away. It's like, wow, this is the new James Bond. This gets me excited about this series again.
Yeah,
this was just a Casino Royale was just a really fun movie. Just great action
fresh
movie.
Take.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think leading up to Spectre, we've had probably, I mean, Joe, maybe you could speak to this, but I think this is like the most continuity I've seen with Bond. Like, Quantum was like a sequel to Casino Royale, And Spectre, Skyfall is probably the most separated from all the films, but not anymore because this is like a sequel to Skyfall.
Yep.
In a lot of different ways. But anyways, we all saw the movie. So before we get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about just general thoughts, generally what we thought about it, and then we'll get into the deep stuff. Joseph, biggest Bond fan among us. How did it live up to your expectations?
It was right there, probably with Skyfall. For me, Casino Royale, like you guys have kind of said, is by far my favorite Bond movie. And I like Quantum of Solace only if you watch it back to back with Casino Royale, because if you do it that way, then it maybe makes a little bit more sense. However, I think outside of Casino Royale, they're having a really hard time with plot. Their plots have not been particularly great in all of them, and Bond doesn't necessarily, like, Bond has never had great plots, but it's been like a fun bad. Like the movies, and Carrie can probably attest to this, they're not like great movies, but they do enough ridiculous stuff in them. Like stuff just happens in them that makes no sense or, is crazy, but it's Bond, and that makes it okay, and there's enough humor. These, kind of like what you said, Jordan, they're a little bit grittier. They're a little bit more, they're trying to be serious. However, their plot is not as serious as the story. So this one, though, it's very entertaining. I actually saw it at 10:30 on the first night because I had some friends that wanted to go, and they couldn't go until later. So I was like, I guess I'll stay up all night because I had to go to work the next day. But it looked good in IMAX. Like, again, like this one in Skyfall was one of the most beautifully shot movies. Like, it looked just so good. And this movie looked pretty good too. Like, I mean, the sets or the scenes, like, all the different places they traveled. I really like that in a Bond movie.
Before you get too far off what you were saying, I want to make a comment. Do you feel the same way about Skyfall? Because, see, I think the thing that I liked about Skyfall was I thought the story was one of the most interesting stories of the Bond movies. It was thematic throughout with these really interesting stylistic choices, and I don't know. I re-saw it not too long ago, and it was just like, wow, I have forgotten how good this movie was. I see why it was nominated for awards.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I think a movie can have great set pieces in it and the plot not be great. Like I think Skyfall suffered from like this, like the villains, what he wanted to do didn't really make a whole lot of sense because it was all based on the premise of like he foresaw that Bond was going to do everything in the entire movie and then get to that point and have a tracker where all he was going to do was go shoot up like a trial. Like he could have done that at any point. I just said like the structure of like these plots, like they're trying to be serious, and if they would just be a little bit more humorous and make it a little bit more over the top, like Bondish, like actually make it like a Bond movie, instead of trying to like kind of just make it more relevant. But yeah, I definitely, like Luke, you are right that that the set pieces were a little bit better. The overall theme was maybe a little stronger in Skyfall.
I guess I really liked the origin story they told. Not to try not to spoil anything about Skyfall, but what like Skyfall ended up meaning. And
we can spoil Skyfall. I mean, it's been out for like almost 4 years. So.
If you haven't seen Skyfall and you watch this movie, God help you.
Well, yeah. I thought the ending to me especially was just I thought it was just really good. Like the homestead, just the setting of that, and it just I don't know. It felt so much. The movie flowed so well throughout, and then like. I don't know, the origin story it really drew me in Skyfall.
Yeah, and I mean I liked it. It's like it's probably my second favorite Bond movie of all time. And there's only I guess 24 other ones to pick from. But like, Spectre again,
what? Right. Are you saying like this is right amongst that is like one of your
It's like right, it's probably like maybe third.
Wow,
I really liked it. Again, like I really like Daniel Craig. His character, his portrayal of Bond, and I kind of that and the fact that they're like the action pieces are way better like than the old movies. They just puts it over the top for me in a category. Almost, it's like really hard. I can't really get into a comparison game because what they did with Bond back in the 60s and 70s was like revolutionary, like never been done before, crazy cool, like no CGI. All the stuff they did was cool, but now they can just do so much more. The budget is like almost bigger and badder, and they can do a lot more. And so it's probably like, it's up there. It's right there with Skyfall, in my opinion.
Okay, wow.
But I just, I'm a big Bond fan. So kind of like Luke and you hate Indiana Jones 4. Like I don't like the movie itself that much, but I'm a huge fan of Indiana Jones. So like the fact that I got to see him and what he was doing in the movie, it just like I was still excited and I loved that part of the movie.
So yeah, I think that's what made me so mad about Indiana Jones.
All right, well,
such a treasured character for me.
Luke, what are your general thoughts on Spectre?
Really good movie.
Oh, good enough. All right, Carrie.
Generally,
yes, for general.
That really is it.
For now.
Okay, all right, great. Yeah. We'll get more into it, I'm sure. Carrie.
Kind of like Joe was saying, is that when you look at a Bond film, you're looking to be entertained because plots aren't usually the big thing for them. I loved Roger Moore's because I felt like it had that entertaining element. That's why, because like just his style made me like laugh and chuckle here and there. When we're talking about the Bond being realistic, I had a hard time with Pierce Brosnan. I liked him and I loved it. I actually enjoy his Bond films, but I have a hard time picturing this guy being able to do the things he's doing. I was like, it's like I just don't see it. But that's with Daniel Craig. He looks physically ridiculously in shape to do the things he's doing. So it's like of course he can do that stuff. I'm like I don't question that with him. Overall, with this film, I was entertained. I did feel like I could feel the serious tone it was trying to give, and I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. It's fine because I'm still getting entertained with the little subtle things that he's doing, Daniel Craig's doing with his character, and even his co-star, Miss Dr. Swan. Mm-hmm. Like she was entertaining for a Bond girl. Usually I'm kind of like, oh, you guys are annoying.
She was good.
Yeah, she did very well.
Yeah.
So. And I like Ralph Fiennes as M. I think he looks really good like the original M and stuff.
Yes.
And, I think that's really cool. And the quartermaster Q, I don't know what that actor's name is. I don't mind him. He's kind of like
Ben Whistle.
Yeah.
The old Q used to be a little bit more like gruff, and this Q's like a little less gruff. So I don't know. You're not going to replace that guy, the old Q.
Yeah, I was like you can't. I
so
still remember that last Pierce Brosnan movie where he faded down.
Oh, so
I was
weird.
Like, no.
Always have an escape plan.
It was so depressing.
We all remember that. It's like
it was kind of creepy. He was like looking up at him as he went down. It was weird.
It was just because you knew it was like that was.
He was the one. He was the one continuity throughout all of them. He was always.
He was
there.
Desmond. He was the constant.
He was.
Oh yeah. Let's not talk about Lost. All right. So my general thoughts. I thought this movie, all in all, was good. I thought it was good. For me, it was kind of mixed in a way to where there are parts in this movie that I think are amazing, like really, really good. And there's parts of this movie I'm like, okay, that's pretty run-of-the-mill action movie, good stuff. And then there's parts of it where I'm like, this is kind of boring because, like, honestly, I think this the movie kind of really drags in like maybe the third quarter of it. Like I thought, like I felt kind of like, oh man, like we'll talk about it later. But once they get to that hotel, basically, is when it starts to the American or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts of it. I think it's good though. I think it overall, with the great, the good, and the bad, I think it landed on good. So let's talk about the good and the bad. Let's start off with the good. Start positive, shall we? We'll get into more fun stuff later, like, because there's so many tropes to go over with the James Bond. Like, there was the Bond girls, there's the opening, and then there's the musical sequence. where they do a song and dance number at the end and the curtain closes. Yeah, no, not that. But first, let's go ahead and let's talk about the best parts of this movie. Joseph, best moments.
That fight with Mr. Hinks on the train was pretty intense.
Yeah.
It was pretty physical, and it was great.
I like that.
I thought for a brief second that, well, this is it. There's no way he's going to survive this.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Daniel Craig hasn't really yet fought someone in the movies that was like he's no physical match for.
Right.
Like he's always like dispatches most enemies rather quickly, and like it's either always he takes them out quickly or it's a chase scene. And so with this, he's like right there fighting him, and he like
getting home
can't do it. So that was fun to see. I thought because
it was really cool.
Yeah. What else?
I really enjoyed the locations. I guess that's just a theme with me, but I loved him going on the boat out to this random house in the middle of nowhere to get this information from the guy. The glass clinic or whatever it was, I guess.
On the top of the mountain was so cool.
Where the guy's daughter was, and then they were riding down the ski lift things, like down like. I just think it's cool when movies spend that extra money, go to different places and film, and it frustrates the heck out of me when I can tell it's in a studio when it's supposed to be somewhere. Like that really frustrates me. So
it's beautifully shot.
That's one of the hooks that Bond is always hooked. I mean, they put their hat on like they're going to places and filming Bond's location everywhere. Like throughout their entire history, they always try to go to the places to shoot. I thought the opening scene was really weird, like having everybody in those costumes, but it kind of was shot really cool. And I like the opening scene because there was like a bunch of different camera work, and then the helicopter scene was pretty intense, and it looked pretty good. Yeah. There was a couple of little CGI parts that maybe you could pick out, but it looked pretty dang good.
I know. I will second that, except I'll go further beyond. I loved the opening scene. I think that in this movie, that's one of those great moments. Like I thought, like just the Day of the Dead scene in Mexico just looked gorgeous. Just like seeing, I don't know how many of those people were real in some of those shots.
No, it was all real. Basically,
it's crazy. They filmed that crowd, and it looked really cool.
That was a huge part of their budget.
Oh yeah, had to be. It's gorgeous to look at. That the whole thing that was like
building coming down.
Yeah, but they had that whole shot, that whole like. Crazy. That one shot take thing, but it wasn't really one shot. You can tell
it was pretty close. It looked.
Yeah, and then it like actually went into like it started cutting after he took out the sniper rifle. But really cool, just like seeing Bond in weird costume with a
very weird costume. And then he took it off, and immediately he had his suit underneath it, and he was like just walking like he's just walking in the park.
He just tore it off.
It won't take long or something like that.
Awesome gun that folds out in all kinds of ways.
Oh my gosh, it has like a listening device on it too or something. It's like really so cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Because it was hard. It's hard to up because Skyfall, if I recall, had a pretty good beginning. I mean, that whole chase with the train and like all this stuff and like he gets shot and stuff at the beginning in that little chase. You remember that? Like he's on a motorcycle, then he goes to like the Bobcat thing, and he's like pulling cars off. I mean, that was really cool. But this was a really, really great opening.
Right up there with it in my mind.
And it felt different.
Yeah,
I think that's like Skyfall and Spectre could have easily been like, oh well, I feel like you're stealing that from Skyfall, but I didn't feel like that. Especially with the opening scene, it's like, okay, this is something new, even though it feels James Bond. Or the new version of James Bond. It's different. Go to Mexico, helicopter.
I think this would probably be this scene when people think of Spectre, like on the line as it's remembered as Bonds. I feel like with most Bond movies, they kind of like flash back in their minds, and like one scene from the Bond movie will like stick out. I think like this will be the scene from Spectre that when people think of Spectre, in a good way at least, they'll think of that scene. But yeah, I thought it was.
Awesome. Joe? Do you remember Live and Let Die?
Yeah,
I feel like this opening scene was kind of like a little homage to that because I mean, they're all about what the doctor, the evil witch doctor. I mean, he wears a costume that's pretty similar to
that.
That's and funny. Also,
the Baron Zeramoff or whatever his name is.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of that movie I felt like they were paying homage to that in this beginning scene.
What's funny is they could have had Jane Seymour in this movie, and she looks the same.
Exactly. It does, yeah.
She hasn't aged in the last 40 years. Not one bit.
That's funny.
And then the thing about what's his name? Batista, I guess they call him.
Dave Batista, Mr. Hinks.
Mr. Hinks.
Which he's never called that in the movie.
Never is.
I was like, I don't remember that name.
He actually only says one word the entire movie.
Yep.
Shoot. Did you guys like that?
That was.
Here's the thing, though.
Me and you laughed. We were like looking at each other laughing, but like I thought it was kind of goofy, but whatever. It was fine.
They're wanting a Jaws-like character, so he's not.
That's
dead.
Exactly. I mean, his thumbs. I was like, really? He's got thumbs.
What's with his thumbs?
He got metal thumbnails.
Metal thumbs.
Yeah.
Really?
That's his signature move.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Dig your eyes
out. People's eyes out.
Stupid.
That would really hurt.
That guy that he just like was in. I was like,
that poor fella.
I'd be freaking out a lot harder than you right now.
You just kind of letting it happen to him.
You're
just letting it happen to him. He was just like
conditioned.
Bam.
Spectre conditions them.
Exactly.
It was really cool to see a bunch of. They paid homage, like Harry said, to a lot of the history of Bond. Like even with it when it came down to his relationship with Moneypenny, like he sent her flowers. That's like a huge thing in the older movies.
Yeah.
Like even to like his white dinner tux that came back again. I think there was one. Didn't he have a white tux in Skyfall once too? Or maybe
I believe so.
But that's like a staple item. I mean, the Austin Martin, of course, is back, but it's been back for a couple movies.
Yeah.
And then like his Waller PPK is back, and just a couple other things. Like they're just paying homage to the older movies, and of course M being back, but getting a role now. That's a little bit different.
Exactly.
Other things that we liked. I like the Bond girl. Miss Swan, I think Miss Swan. Every time I say Miss Swan, I'm thinking of Pirates of the Caribbean. But she was good. I think.
Yeah,
she was.
Maybe one of the best. I mean, she's right up there with Vesper. I think. I really liked Vesper as one of the Bond girls. I mean, Skyfall really kind of didn't have one, and yeah,
Judy did.
Marsalis did. I guess. Yeah. All right. Sure. Whatever. But like, yeah, I think she was really good.
Yeah.
I mean. We'll get into that later, but whether or not I bought the fact that they were in love or whatever, even though I didn't really buy that, I liked seeing it. That was, that's kind of one of those weird things. I was like willing to be like, whatever, it's interesting to watch, I guess. And so like that's kind of where I stood with that. It's because I liked her, I liked him, and so I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying them both. So.
And another homage paying that Casino Royale had was a great torture device, even though it technically malfunctioned or whatever because it missed. And without spoiling anything, like anytime you're on a laid up, and you're like laying anywhere, and the villain has his finger on the button and he's torturing you, it's good.
Oh yeah,
I really liked Christoph Waltz. And I have to condition that. I don't think I liked the way his character was scripted, but I really liked him.
Hands down, they underutilized him.
Yes, they did.
He's just always so good. Like he always puts so much of himself into his characters, and he's just like his own personality. I think just naturally is just so good for villains and ominous characters. And
what's like
I don't know why earlier he wasn't in a Bond movie. It would have been worse. So well.
It would have been worse if anybody else had played that position. It probably wouldn't have been nearly as good. And the movie wouldn't have been, because I feel like they gave him nothing to work with. He took it, made it so much better.
Yeah.
And even though they underutilized him, it was.
They really made him seem so ominous too in the trailer.
Yeah,
like they really built him up. This shadowy figure, you don't see his face for a quarter of the movie.
Yeah, I mean that's something I really like. Just thing made me think of it that I really like about it, because like the organization of Spectre, I liked the portrayal of them. It really made you think of like secret society, like Illuminati, like creepy stuff, and it was just really fun seeing James Bond injected into that creepy. Like when he like turns off the lights when he's in his lair and all his people stand up. It's really creepy, and like that whole room with people talking and how echoey it is, really creepy, and I really enjoyed it. Like I just really enjoyed that organization. There wasn't enough of that. There wasn't enough. But what was there, I was like, ooh, I like this. I wish there was more of that.
Well, see, like he's been around for so many years in Bond's world up until a certain point. And he's never there have been movies where all you see is his cat and his like left hand, and you don't see his face the entire movie. It's just him behind the curtain, and it's like this ominous presence that like, you know, and you do the only reason why they did this now is they just got the rights back last year to Spectre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? I don't know how you sell the rights to, like, what is, like, I don't know how they're not sold at the same time. Like, what was Sony thinking, I guess, when they bought it a few years back or whatever?
Beats me. I have no idea.
The good thing is, though, he didn't get killed.
Yeah.
So that means we
survived.
I hope we see him again and they use him.
And he got his scar.
His full potential. Exactly.
It's the first James Bond villain in the Craig era to really survive the film. So everyone else, Mr. Green, even Mr. White, and Silva, they all.
So you're saying Batista will come back?
Oh, yeah, I mean, likely. They're saying that he's going to be like the Jaws of the franchise.
Most people who fall from a train survive, walk away.
Being yanked from the neck by a barrel or whatever.
The other Jaws was notorious for living through some ridiculous.
He fell out of a freaking plane and didn't have a parachute and landed in like a bomb.
That makes sense.
He landed on his legs and just was like, ugh. Just brushed himself off.
Carrie, wasn't there one where he was like holding a grenade or something and it blew up while he was holding it? It was like so ridiculous.
I'm trying to remember, what exactly happened. I was like,
sealed it with his hand.
Yeah, he just doesn't die. It's like,
oh, that hurt my hand.
Yeah, there'd be so many times I'd be watching him like, he's not going to live. There's no way he's going to be in the next film. And then there he is, smiling away.
There was something about Dave Batista. Well, we'll get into that later. Anyways, we'll get into that when I talk about that. I was tempted to give a veiled bad remark, but no.
Are we still doing good?
We're still doing good. There's a lot of good in this movie. I think we should get through a lot of the good. We'll come back to think of it later, but let's talk about.
Let's see. The car's cool. Gadgets. There weren't many gadgets, but the watch. Yeah. The watch was very cool.
Yeah.
Exploding watch.
I liked that though. I liked that they kind of stripped him down to like his PP7, his watch. I mean,
it's been all of these.
Usually they always have all this really cool gadgets and be like, oh, wow. But it's like, I don't know. I like the fact they stripped him down to like very little this time.
I almost feel like the most like dark and realistic one had the most gadgets. I feel like Casino Royale had the most gadgets. I really do. With that crazy defibrillator thing.
I feel like it's like an up and a down with the gadgets. It's like, now we're going to strip him and we're going to be original by not doing anything.
We're giving you a radio.
Yeah. Well, wait, let's give him some really cool stuff in this one, and then let's strip him down again.
Which is different because in Pierce Brosnan's James Bond movies, he used every gadget. So the Q was a prophet. He was like able to see the future.
This is going to come in handy.
He's like, James, you're going to need an inflatable a ski suit that will turn into a bubble that will save you from an avalanche.
This movie's the opposite. It gives him the things, but they're not loaded in the car.
Yeah.
That was
they're going to need a gun, but there's not going to be any bullets.
Granted, he did take it.
Great.
So.
Yes. And those kind of things are really cool. Like, I liked all that James Bondy stuff. Like, the humor is like, you have to make fun of it because it's ridiculous. It's a car with machine guns on it and flamethrowers and
war missiles.
There's probably one of the most There's probably one of the most Bond jokes in this movie, and of all the Craig movies, with the guy in the car who was just taking his time and he pushed him. He's like, oh! And then when he actually parks and it's like, oh, and the airbag goes off. It's like, yuck. That's like the most.
The man from Uncle.
Q, exactly. Q had a good line though about please bring the car back not one piece of the, or like I forget the exact line.
I said
but
bring the car back in one piece, not bring back
piece.
one piece.
Yeah,
Like
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that. Yeah, I like the humor in this movie for the most part. For the most part,
Yeah,
I'm mixed
not
on
enough,
I'm mixed on shoot, but yeah,
Even Moneypenny
shoot.
too. She had a lot of little humorous little kicks here at him. I was like,
yeah, when she's like listening to him while he's driving, and
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, you're in a car chase. She's like, I'm waiting. You know, that's fun stuff. But yeah, it was sporadic. It would go from like being, oh, we're in a fun part to this is some serious stuff.
we're getting deep now.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the humor. For the
I'm
most part.
fighting depression and like Bond's fighting the loss of Vesper still.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
he's just fighting all of that, and like what is he doing? What's like why is he doing what he does? And it's just like it's a Bond movie. They're trying to make it the Dark Knight.
that was Skyfall.
Well, yeah, but
the whole
like
Joker stuff.
Or Empire Strikes Back. Like they're trying to make it it's like too sequelized, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really fit the Bond formula, which part of me is okay with, but
Doesn't this remind you of Rogue Nation?
You mean
So
yeah,
much.
or
absolutely.
doesn't
Just
Rogue
about
Nation
the
remind me
entire
of James
movie.
Bond?
Tomato,
Just
tomato,
like
I
Rogue
don't know.
Nation, he has no nation like standing behind him the entire movie until the end, and then everything's good.
Yeah, and pretty much, and he survived that movie too. And oh wait, no,
I feel like
see Rogue Nation.
I feel like Bond needs a mission. Like he used to at least have missions, and for the last 3 or 4, I mean, like Casino Royale, he had a mission, but Quantum of Solace, his mission was very vague. And Skyfall, he went rogue twice. And then, this one, he was like, he technically wasn't rogue, but he technically wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing because he was, in Chelsea?
He's supposed to be in
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Austria.
He's in
That
Austria.
nano blood was pretty crazy. It'd be pretty interesting to have nano blood.
It was like, when they put it in, it was like, okay, how's he going to get around this now? Is he going to
Yeah.
zap his own blood somehow?
I know.
him
I
not
thought
to,
he was going to
whatever.
somehow
Just tell
use
him
them
no.
to break out of something like, oh, they're going to send off a pulse that will hurt. But hey, it'll get you out of what
You
you
get the giant microwave.
Yeah.
and it'll
All he did
fry
was
him.
say, "Hey
Yeah.
Q, don't you know how you put nanobots in me and said they were gonna track me? Yeah, just don't
Don't do that.
put them in some machine
don't
where
do
like
that.
magnets,
All right.
it's like affected by magnets. Oh, don't put any magnets in the machine. Oh, good thing.
We
What,
thought-
going to MRI or something?
Exactly.
Oh my
some
gosh.
shit.
we obviously thought too much into this. How would that not kill you? That was one of the first things I was thinking. Putting junk in your blood, like I'm pretty sure that's lethal.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But all right, there's another Bond girl in this movie that was kind of in the movie for like 5 seconds. Monica Bellucci.
There's
She's
always
played
that
up pretty
one.
big.
Yeah, she
Doesn't die though, does she?
does
That's the thing. She
nothing.
doesn't die.
I don't know.
Usually
He
that
on
person
camera.
dies.
calls Felix Leiter, and
True.
hopefully he got her out. Maybe he got there and they both got killed. Who knows?
That sounds about right too.
She looks pretty good for a 60-year-old. That's what Corey said.
Crazy.
I'm amazed she went for his like seduction tactics when he makes fun of the fact that she was with in
why
a
it's a
crappy
movie.
marriage, then that he killed him, and then she slaps him. He viciously throws down his glass to the ground, pushes her up against the wall, and she's like, "Oh yeah,
She's a woman who hasn't been
You
loved
know
in
what
a
I was
long
asking
time.
for.
she has needs."
She wanted a man to take control of her again.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
She was
It
married to
totally
an awful
worked.
person.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Yeah.
He
make
was awful.
with that weird ponytail he had. And you got freaking Daniel Craig coming in, saving your life, throwing your cups around. Yeah, really good. But
Quite a
I
life insurance
I was
salesman.
laughing in that scene, but
Yeah, it was
life
amazing.
insurance. Yeah, that's right. What else is good? Anything? Can you think of anything before we go?
Again,
on?
that's another thing. He poses as an insurance salesman and imports too. Like he's like an imports rep or whatever. Those are like his two
Yeah.
always go-to jobs throughout his entire career.
All right, let's talk about some bad. I'll start us off with some bad stuff.
Oh
There's
boy.
a weird thing in this movie. Like, this is not one bad thing in particular, but a few things. Like, the fact that James Bond is kind of, in the Craig era, is getting a little bit more and more to its roots. Like I said, like that scene with the car and the man with the airbag, that was like the most James Bond humor I think we've seen in Craig. But there's also, like, they're inching towards some James Bond villain stuff. And I think some of it works, but some of it I'm like, what? It doesn't make sense in this world. Like, for instance, when he gets captured at the end by Blofeld's men. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's Blofeld this whole time. Big surprise. He gets captured at the end by Blofeld's men, breaks out of that immediately, and then we have this weird, elaborate, like psychedelic thing that Blofeld set up for him to observe with the arrows and his name amongst the dead people, and then he has like the pictures that he had someone draw or something in the little cells.
I think they were actually just
printed out
pictures.
They're so weird.
It was weird.
Yeah, that makes it okay, Jordan.
But it was really strange just because like he had the time to do that. And also he entered that scenario with the black bag over his head. And he just expected him to get out of that so he could look at all this stuff that I set up for you. And I don't even know what it meant. What are you saying with all that? Remember all the stuff I did?
I guess he suspected that he would kill those guys.
I mean, he must have, but it was just weird. Like, what is he even saying for all that? What was the point? And then, like, the fact that when he shot at the glass, it made, like, the Spectre symbol. That's, like, something I'd expect out of a dream sequence or something. And it was just kind of strange to me. It's not like I hated it or any
I think
of
it was, and Joe will probably clarify this. I thought it was saying, like, you remember all this? It all leads back to me.
Yeah. And that's fine, but
I
it's
think
just
that was the statement he was making.
It was just weird. I don't know. It was just so much effort. He's one of those villains.
And that's why the strings all led to him.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's one of those villains like sometimes I have problems with in movies that are a little bit too obsessed with the heroes, and it kind of makes them seem less menacing because it makes them seem weak. It makes them seem like they're almost dependent on them. When it's someone like the Joker doing it to Batman, he's crazy and he's theatrical, so it makes super sense. But when it's just this like really evil guy, this scary terrorist organization, it just seems weird. It makes him weak. I mean, I don't know. Like I really like Christoph Waltz's portrayal of him, and I think he did a brilliant job acting him. It's just like what they made him do. I was just like,
goes back to the plot. The plot is just kind of just like it's weak sauce. I mean,
a little bit.
Like first of all, you have almost these like two climaxes because they like reach a pinnacle, and then they have to get to another one. And how they do it, it's just like long and it just drags out, and it kind of like I could, but it looks like Bond doesn't even really care. Like at all, like he's just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna beat this timer in no time flat. Like there's no consequences. Like he's like, oh yeah, you have to decide either to walk away or to save her. Well, why don't I just do both? Because he had time to go all the way up to the top of the building, all the way back down. Granted, he did jump into the net, which was fine, whatever, and then he escaped pretty easily.
Why didn't you just jump into the water? That's what I was wondering.
Well, he basically did. He found a boat downstairs and just, like, I don't understand.
But it was open. Just, like, run off and jump into the water.
It was made for him to escape, okay?
He didn't want to get his suit wet.
He didn't want to get his
Well, that was, I mean, they were going back and forth, like, they're MI6, kind of earlier in the movie. And it's hard to pick up on this because, like, there's like, a lot of quick dialogue, and you have to almost watch it twice to pick up on some of it. But they basically talk about how Q wants to go, he wants his own place away from everybody else, and so they've been like transporting back and forth. So there is a working boat at the old MI6
But they had already moved out of it in Skyfall.
Oh yeah, but it was still like there was a boat down there. Yeah. Like you see it when he's down there before, when he's like trying to find the arrows, which is still kind of Jordan. It was very weird. How about this?
What about the whole thing with the octopus? How he shot the glass and it was like, there's the symbol. It was kind of weird. That was kind of weird. It just, I mean, it wasn't like,
like that.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's cool, but it just didn't fit in this world. You know, where it's like
over trying to make a realistic world.
Yeah, where nothing else is over stylized, then all of a sudden you have him incidentally making the Spectre symbol with his bullet holes.
But they didn't focus on it too much.
They didn't. It was like really quick. If you weren't looking at it, you wouldn't notice. But I saw it, I was like, he made the Spectre symbol.
The trailer like made me think about it.
Yeah, and like
forming.
And also one weird thing, which I also felt, I don't know if it's the same complaint that I have here, but just one thing that I thought, this is a weird intro for a James Bond movie. Again, love the intro, but the whole thing at the beginning where it said the dead are alive, I was like, huh? What kind of movie is this?
Well, it's because he was supposed to be dead, and he was his brother. Like, there's like some.
I get the thematic reasonings for it, but
it was a weird opening.
It was strange. Sure. I was like, why did they have? I could have gathered that at the end. Why did you have to say that? I didn't get it. Day of the Dead. It's cool, but it just seemed to be like a weird decision for these movies because there's nothing else like that in these movies. I mean, and
that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Let's go to a couple other like weird, not so great plot decisions at the base that the meteor makes.
Yep.
He shoots a tank twice. Shoots a tank twice. It blows up the entire base. The entire base.
I did not expect that. When he
not just like not
one
just
explosion.
Like, no,
exactly.
The one explosion was cool, and then he's walking away.
Walks away.
The explosion looked fantastic. It looked really good.
Were they refining something?
I don't know. No idea.
No.
All I know is that whatever it was,
that's what I saw.
They're using both solar and fossil fuels. I don't know.
Bond, all he needed to do was shoot that little thing, and it blew up the whole thing. And then, of course, like the big thing, he downed that helicopter with a pistol. Like that is the most ridiculous. It's almost like their laziness knows no bounds. Like it's like literally, like the writers were that lazy. It's like, well, we're gonna have Bond shoot it. Like in other movies, he would have
his watch would have had some like tracking missile,
a harpoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Or he would have done like he would have used his boat as a missile. Like he would have ramped it and like shot. Like, but what?
Yeah, I could tell it was one of those moments where they were like, "Let's just make them shoot it," kind of like they kind of threw up their hands and maybe laziness a little bit, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of instances where it's like, "Wow, you went the extra mile with that extra scene," like kind of in the way I praise Winter Soldier, how they go the extra mile in their action scenes. That was a kind of a lazy move, but
this was kind of like the Winter Soldier.
But then the intro was.
It's like the script writers were the same thing. It's like we have MI6, and Spectre's going to put all their agents in it, and then they're the evil organization that has infiltrated the good organization, and then there's going to be a big, explosion within where everyone's killing everyone.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
Let's okay, I kind of hinted at this before about the love story. About how as I enjoyed watching them together, I didn't buy that love story at all. Like I bought Bond and Vesper in the first movie. I actually really bought that. It was sad to see her go at the end of that movie. But in this, I was like, what? Really? Like I did not get that at all. Even after they had sex. Bond had sex with everyone. Who cares? But like at the end, when like there's all this talk about, oh, you love her, or oh, you're perfect for each other. And when they show her the video of Mr. White, her father, killing himself, and he gets really worked up. He's like, no. And they're turn it off, and he's like screaming. I was like, holy crap, why is he so mad? And I was like, oh, he's supposed to really, really love her? I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all, because like I didn't really sense a connection that much stronger than like most other Bond girls. And so it's just weird to see like, yeah, she's the one who's going to make him change. It was just kind of strange to me.
I when trying to believe it, you can take the route of, well, because she's been around it for all of her life, basically, and hidden from it, she can actually, okay, I understand you and why you. She understands him, like because
I can see
she
that.
lived with it, her entire childhood. Now, granted, yes, like it might help him get away from it, like all that stuff, and that's like we can speculate all we want. We don't know exactly how. I mean, why they wrote off the way they did at the end. It's just kind of an interesting ending.
It's one of those things where they explicitly say that. Like Blofeld says it. It's like, oh, it's too bad you guys can't be together. She would have really understood you. It's like, okay, yeah, I get that. And it looks good on paper, but I just don't see it. I still don't see anything happening like that.
I agree with you, but here's Luke's read too far into it and probably isn't really supposed to be this way, but I feel like, okay, we go down this little Luke story here. Okay, we go to Casino Royale, and like Bond really puts himself out there emotionally, and then she ends up screwing him, and That's devastating. And then the next movie, I don't remember the name of that girl, but that seemed to really
she
hit
was
him
another
hard.
agent, I believe.
Yeah, that really seemed to hit him hard. At least that's the way it portrayed. And then I don't remember Quantum Solace, but then Skyfall. Then of course, what's her name dies? Q M.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because he's the new M. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm not a James Bond aficionado. so of course M dies, and like, of course that is like the culmination of, a Bond death, I think, and really puts him in a raw spot. And so I think in this movie, it was like the First Lady, it was like, it wasn't really a big deal. But then it's like he finds someone who, like you guys said, they have connection and that. And I think this is me reading, all those movies into it. And it's like he just really needs someone. Like he feels like his country is leaving him behind by this whole, they don't believe him. He has to do all this on his own. And so, like, he finds some kind of, like, shelter in her. And, like I said, I think I'm reading too much into it. But I think, hopefully, that I would like them in the next movie to kind of explain that and have it be like, look, this is finally a girl who means something and is going to carry through somewhat. And, she may not be movie to movie after this or something. But it's like, there's a real meaning to this relationship. And
again,
that's why it brings up the conversation. Where they're trying to they're making like a universe. They're trying to make a James Bond universe, it seems like, and I don't know if it works. Like, I don't know. I mean, the same guy's not going to always play James Bond, so what happens when he's gone? I mean, yes, I know that there's like the whole thing where it's the 007, everyone who's 007 actually is named James Bond. So that means that these guys' real names actually are not James Bond, but when they assume the role of 007 for their country, they assume the James Bond as their pseudonym or whatever.
I don't even think that's real. I think really what happens is every time an actor changes, at least up to this point, the universe just kind of restarts.
But it never has. It never has. It literally hasn't. It's always been the same until they've tried to reset it now. I'm just saying, why would you not try to? I mean, you look at Marvel and you look at what DC's going to try to do. You look at Transformers. You look at all these, like, what's making money are universes, sequels.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look how
Skyfall made $1 billion. So.
Yeah, it made so much money, but they're having a hard time keeping it together, I think. I mean, like, they now, it's almost like they had their Thanos moment with Blofeld saying, it was all me. All that stuff that happened in other movies, I had something to do with it. And, like, that was, like, the culmination of it almost. It's like they've already reached it. And it's like, what now? And it's like, and as for it was all me, and I feel like that's kind of loose and a little bit more of that's a kind of a stretch as it is, because for the life of me, I coming out of this movie, I was like thinking, what did he have to do with Silva? Like he kept saying he had something to do with Silva. I'm like, what did you do? Did you tell him to do, hey, you, Silva, do this? And that was like a scene, or was that it?
I mean, yeah, it could have been one mission and that was it.
I guess so. It was just kind of weird. It's like you could have said that about anyone,
Yeah, again, though, it goes back to my theory of them trying to make a universe. So they're trying to tie all these movies together. Like, watch the movies. They're about as together as, I don't know.
You should have really come in this with an analogy.
Yeah. I kind of thought maybe I could think of one while I was saying it, but I can't come up with one.
Alrighty, any other negative things? I think, honestly, this is also something I kind of thought of while talking about it. Something where I think has to do with the love story and why I'm having trouble buying it. I think, honestly, I was having trouble with Craig's performance in that. I don't think he was bringing it through. I think he sometimes has a little bit of trouble going from really cold Bond to someone who has emotions. There's no transition between. He's either I don't know.
But I mean, that kind of does work in his advantage, because usually people who are jaded like that or have hurt, they literally go from one extreme to the next.
It's true.
I mean, it's understandable, but yes, I do feel like I wasn't able to feel his actual love until he was yelling and screaming.
Yeah. Turn it
off! The one thing that, it's not even something that big, but it took place in the Americana, when Dr. Swan got drunk and she's like, "Oh, what do you think? I'm just gonna fall into your arms." I'm like, that is a very repeated line throughout all of James Bond. That 1 second girl, "I'm not gonna fall for you, whatever."
No.
And it's like, I'm like,
cliche. Yeah.
even I was like, I just didn't want to hear her say it. Like when she said it, I was like, why'd you even say that?
Yeah, you are.
It's like you already know what's gonna happen in this movie. Come on.
Bond girls come in threes. There's the opening girl, there's the girl that gets killed, and then there's the girl that he rides off into the sunset with.
Yep.
Very true.
What happened to Halle Berry? But what ever happened to her?
Apparently, she was supposed to have her own movie, Jinx.
Yeah.
Like apparently, she was supposed to have her own movie, but like
they canned that quick after Catwoman.
Really? Oh yeah.
After Catwoman, like, oh, we're not going to do that one. Sorry.
Booted that idea right out the window. I think I mentioned this in my general thoughts, but yeah, this is a big complaint. I think the movie really slows down right when they get to the Americana or whatever. It slows right down. Like they get there and then they have that moment where they're kind of looking through Mr. White's secret little room. And
great music was playing during that time. I actually listened to that that entire.
I was thinking it just slowed down from after the opening scene.
Really?
Like from then until the next action, it just seemed like it was forever.
Forever until he was on that plane. That was literally like. Well, I guess no. We had that chase at that chase between him and Mr. Hinks. But yeah, I mean,
but wasn't any real action.
Yeah, I think like just for me,
jumped out of a window.
Yeah, I mean, I was still kind of trying to understand the plot, but when we get to the Americana, I think like this is an unnecessary step in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
and how do they
really
get
unnecessary?
Yeah,
like. So they are willingly going into this trap. Like it just like then it skips. It's like it almost fast forwards and you miss a scene.
Yeah.
I mean, at first I was like, okay, they're riding a train. I know where they're going, but why are they stopped here? Oh, that car's coming to pick them up. What?
Exactly.
What?
Why did the base have to be out there? There was no reason for that. Like,
I'm just like wondering like how they got in contact. What did they send an email? Like a secret code of an email that but they knew they were walking into a trap. So it's just kind of like one of those things where I'm like, okay, the writers were a little lazy, or maybe they just didn't have the time because it's already kind of a longer movie. So maybe they just didn't have the time to go there and they just had to like go, well, we're going to try to, maybe people can catch on quick.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get a free lobotomy.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
what
that
were
part.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what were they trying to do? Because I mean, nothing happened in that chair.
That's the most ridiculous
when I
thing
stick
to
you
me.
here,
Nothing
that's it.
happened.
You're gonna forget everything.
But he missed it.
Like,
They didn't even say that. They never explained that. Like,
honestly,
good thing they missed, or good thing I trained my
He
nerves
said,
to move around.
he said that it was like that if I hit you in the right spot, you will forget everything.
But it's
Well,
like
the implication is
that
that
is like
he knew where that was.
the most ridiculous guess game ever.
That's
it's like
stupid. Yeah.
All right, you're gonna forget now. It's like,
But then he was
the
going for
first
the
one
eyes.
was happening. I was like, oh man, like this is intense. Like they're following through. Like he's really getting drilled into. And then it was like, wait,
Nothing's happening.
he just got out.
he just got some pain. That's all.
And that watch was right underneath him.
I hate stuff
Why
like
is he
that.
not dead?
Where like they're like, oh, how are we gonna get out of this? And the answer is you're not. It just some reason doesn't happen.
You
that
get
way.
lucky.
Like remember, I know I hate to actually bash in the Dark Knight, but remember that scene where they're falling out the window and he grabs Maggie Gyllenhaal and they're like, ah, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, how are they gonna get out of this? They don't. They just land on the car, splat. They're fine.
Yep.
It's like that in this
It was
movie.
a long ways up.
It was a long ways up.
But how dare you?
That cape is reinforced.
But in this movie, he was like, oh, how could I forget you? I'm like, okay, what? If you try to tell me it's True Love's Kiss or something like that, I'm like, no, not in this.
No.
How did you know?
It
Oh,
was
what
True
it
Love's
is.
Kiss.
Kiss. Oh yeah.
C annoyed me.
Oh yeah, Moriarty.
I was like,
C stood for
real
coward.
cocky bastard, don't you?
even then, it's like I expected something else from a guy who's helping someone else cause this massive worldwide unification of knowledge. I would have expected him to put up a better fight.
Oh,
I don't know why. Even though he was cowardly, I expected him to at least have some fight in him as well.
Yeah,
And-
I don't think C stands for careless either. I think it stands for clearly the
Cocky
villain.
bastard.
Clearly.
Clearly the villain. Immediately
Clearly
shows
the
up. I'm like, oh hey,
Like,
you're part of Spectre.
Yeah, his whole attitude. I was like, they did a really good job at making me hate you, and you haven't even said anything already.
Yeah, he was kind of, I don't know.
I wanted more of a fight between him and M.
Yeah.
Well,
he died on
if I was writing
exactly.
if I was writing the movie, I would have had a twist, and that twist would have been that Dr. Swan, was part of the organization known as Spectre.
That's actually kind of what I was thinking at first. I thought
they were
going to go that way, but
they tried to give you like a little like rabbit trail. They were like, "Oh, she's going off by herself because she can't be with you," but then it was like pretty clear. It's like, nope, that's no.
No, that's not it either.
It's like repeating, like that would have been repeating what they did in Casino Royale, like with Vespa. And I don't think they should have done that. What I actually thought, for some reason, I thought Moneypenny was gonna turn because honestly, when it was that scene, I know it's Moneypenny.
Are you kidding me?
Listen, that scene when they were in, they were talking on the phone during that thing, and
you thought she was with C.
I thought she was with C.
I did too.
She was with C because
that's
he was
exactly
like
what
Mask
Corey
and Shadow.
said. Corey's like, is she with C? I'm like, are you kidding me? They didn't show anyone's face.
That's why I thought it, because I was
exactly.
like, who's that guy? I was like, does she know? Does she know that he's a part of the organization?
Man?
Exactly, because they just showed like some silhouetted figure, and I'm like, it could have been anyone.
Is that James Bond? Where is he?
Actually, I was kind of thinking it was Blofeld.
What?
Oh, that was
Lord, weird.
His face is always in the shadows.
I'm back to that. I can't do his accent.
or Mr. Hanks.
What?
He's always there.
I was there, James Bond. I was always there. There's a fly in this room. All right, sorry. Anyways, sorry to interrupt.
Is it Clay Aiken?
What? No, it's not invisible.
What? It's a mosquito.
But anyways, I lost my train of thought. That stupid mosquito wrecked me. But yeah, that's what I thought was of interest. But no, it's not the best movie ever. But yeah, I mean, any other things? Let's talk about one thing we haven't really talked about: the opening little musical opening with Sam Smith's song "Writing on the Wall."
Perfect.
What'd you guys think of it?
It worked well. I don't know why.
I really like the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Like what I thought coming into it, because we listened to this probably like a month or two ago. My thought was listening to the song, I'm like, this is a good song and all, but I don't feel like this is a James Bond song. It's like too sensitive to be a James Bond song with that, especially that little it's like it's a little too sensitive for him, which usually there's like a tinge of like coldness to some of his like Too Cool for School coldness, and this is really an emotional song.
I didn't read that much into it, but no, you're
right
about
it. It is talking about all the crazy things he's gone through. Losing him. So I mean, I think it's like explaining how he really feels, but he can't. He just doesn't say.
Going into that being said, the intro did kind of sell me on it because it worked. I actually liked the opening number. I thought it was really weird seeing the big CGI octopus. I was like, what? And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like seeing like the tentacles behind the back. I was like, I like that a little bit. And so I don't know. I think it worked for me. It's not the best.
All of those weird things and like a gun that inked.
Yeah.
I had actually one thought in the theater. This is so low tech. Like the words are just plain text pasted on top. Like it's a pretty, interesting thing going on, octopus and all the craziness like they always do. But the text is just like it's like it's 1960s
numeral or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, before, like so many movies nowadays, they do like the words will become smoke and the bullets will push pieces off of them and like all this craziness, or it'll be like part of the landscape. This is just like
the Dead or Alive movie. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
They sprung a lot for that.
I didn't like that part. I wish it had been like
octopus.
The craziness.
A 3D octopus, the tentacles forming.
It was pretty. That was all their budget.
On the credits.
Oh my gosh!
I need to go back and watch other ones. I think that you'll find that a lot of the Bond intro songs are pretty much plain text. I think there's only maybe a couple of the Daniel Craig ones where they do extra stuff.
The last few have done.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I think Skyfall and maybe Quantum has stuff, but I don't think.
Generally, it is. Yeah.
Well, before that,
they just had nudity. They just had full nude.
Wasn't really up for it.
Just the naked women
just
forming.
all shadowed over. Just
seriously, it's really weird.
It was always crazy watching it with my dad because I'm just like 10-year-old boy watching this like, what are they doing? I'm like, I'm laying on the floor in front of my dad. I'm just like trying not to look behind. I'm like, just don't look at him. I don't make eye contact. It doesn't get weird.
Don't you look at that.
Well, it's more so when my mom walked in that I felt uncomfortable. I'm just like,
I wasn't watching, Mom.
What are you watching? What is this?
It's on my Game Boy.
That's just
that's funny.
Yeah,
well,
just watch the Octopussy intro video.
Is there anything else we need to talk about? We've really covered a lot.
We have covered a lot. This is a quality spoiler cast.
Yeah, we did a good job, guys. Let's talk about a few other things. We need to rank it. Give it our old 1 through 10 or whatever scale we have going on. Let's go ahead and do that. Joe, what do you rank Spectre?
8.5.
That was weird.
I know. I was like, wait, what?
Did someone just take over your body? You're like about to give it something else. I'll give it a
8.5. If I go into it wanting to be entertained, it's pretty entertaining.
Okay.
I'll leave my plot qualms at home, but pretty entertaining. 8.5 for me.
All right. I am going to give it a 7. It's a good movie.
How dare you?
How dare you? I give Dark Knight a 7 too. No, I'm kidding.
What?
That's a throw down.
Gave it a 4.
Oh gosh. No, this movie gets a 7. It's good. Really good. I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray because I'm gonna watch it again for sure.
What movies do you not get on Blu-ray?
4 and below.
4 and below.
So Dark Knight's a no.
Fantastic 4.
I will not get that on Blu-ray.
It's the only one that didn't make the cut this year.
The only superhero movie.
I thought you wanted that for your birthday.
No. Is it already on
Blu-ray? The
Ultimate
Extreme Edition. The edition not released in the United States is a brand new one. They redid the whole movie.
Great. All right, Luke.
I give it an 8.
Give it an 8.
I really like this movie. That's part of the thing about spoiler casting. I start picking it apart and I start thinking about all the things that annoy me. But before I started thinking about it so much, I probably would have given it higher. But I really enjoyed it. I think it was well worth the money.
Yeah.
All right, Carrie.
8.
8. All right. 8 out of 7. Well, aren't I the
look at you, boy?
Black sheep.
Look at you.
Look at me. Look at me. Yeah.
It's pretty good though. I think it's crossed over $550 million today.
Did great, man.
It's still well off of Skyfall's pace, but still pretty good.
It might get it.
Might catch up. Do you think
it's halfway there? 1.1. I looked it up earlier.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You think they're gonna make another one? It's at that point where it's like Daniel Craig is saying some stuff like, it was alright.
We did sign on for 5.
Daniel Craig.
Well, that's the question.
He did sign on for 5, so technically he has one more in his contract. However,
he has just one more. Okay.
Yeah, this one needs surgery. He's angry. He's a not happy man.
Is he turning into Harrison Ford? I never wanted to make. I wanted to make the Golden Compass sequel.
The Golden Compass.
Maybe he'll start making Indiana Jones movies. Daniel Craig.
Oh, the switcheroo. Maybe he'll be
crazy.
Never mind. I don't know. But anyways, I don't have much else to say about this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Let's rank it in Craig years movies. What do you think?
Let's do that. That's a good idea.
Craig
years.
All right, number 1 in my book is Casino Royale. After me thinking it was too dark and whatever, it turned out me thinking that it's the best one of all the Bond movies.
You mean when you first saw it?
Before I first saw it, I was like, this is dark and I'm just not having fun here. But I don't know why. I just did not have that great of experience. But every time I come back to it, every time it gets hugely better. And the last time I saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this movie is so good. And so
it's so much darker than the movie that came before it. So
Die Another Day.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That one is the top for sure. Second for me is Skyfall. Third is this Spectre. Fourth is Quantum of Solace. That's me.
The question is, does anyone disagree with that?
No, that's pretty much that's the order. That's the order.
Yeah.
Is that the order? Okay.
I think so.
Oh, Joe.
What do you think's different, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Quantum Solace.
I think you should rewatch Quantum of Solace.
I have. I did.
Immediately.
No, not now. Yeah. I watched it like a few months ago.
It only takes 4.5 hours, but it might... No, I totally agree with you, Jordan.
Okay.
But I don't know of all time. I still Dr. No to me is probably my favorite Bond movie of all time.
Why?
Because it's
Dr. No isn't very good.
Because it's
that's
the first
it.
one?
I'm saying it. Dr. No isn't very good.
That's not a very good reason, though.
I don't like it.
It has one of the greatest intro songs of all time.
3 freaking blind mice. Are you kidding me? It was that was so weird.
And then you have the 3 guys that are assassins that are pretending to be blind. It's amazing.
Ugh, don't like that movie very much at all.
If we hadn't had that movie, well, actually, the original Casino Royale is pretty crazy. It's very slow, but if you ever want to watch a slow burn, watch that one. It actually has 7 James Bonds in it.
I refuse.
If you want to be confused.
Whoa! Yeah. I'm not going to watch that movie.
It's got Peter Sellers, Luke.
Oh, there you go, Pink Panther.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Anyways, all right. So everyone agrees with that ranking. All right.
Yeah,
indeed.
Well, then I guess that's our spoiler cast. Looking forward to seeing this again on Blu-ray or whatever, and I'm looking forward to the next Bond movie.
Definitely.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be.
Definitely, I would see it in IMAX before it leaves if you want to. It'll leave this Friday, so if you haven't seen it in IMAX, or if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, IMAX is the ticket. It looked really, really good and big.
I'm sure it would look good in IMAX. It was a good-looking movie.
Do you have any guess what the next movie is going to be, Joe?
What they would make?
Just any predictions for the next one?
If you were going to write the next Bond film, how would you proceed?
Do you have any guesses?
Start off with the 3 blind mice.
Well, how about this? I would go
around a hotel for 8 hours.
I would actually have
go to an island.
I would have him have a mission. I would go back to the roots. And now they've reset everything. Everything's hunky-dory. The 00 program is still around. Have them go on a mission. And hey, maybe even have it be against part of Spectre's organization. But, what's funny is, like, Blofeld was able to stay quiet for all these years, and then all of a sudden, like, now Bond knows where he is. So, I mean, he can go into hiding again, and we'll be good to go. I think that's the way they should go, and that could probably be the end, and I'd be fine with that. But if the end is this, I don't know about that.
Really be the end? Wow.
I think they set it up.
They tried to set it up. Yeah.
Like, in case they don't make one, here's this ending. You know what I mean? Like, in case we don't make a 5th one, here's this. Kind of like Iron Man 3, how they were like, we don't know if Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. Let's kind of have an ending. Never mind.
I have a hard time believing that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But anyways, our next spoiler cast will be, we are going to be talking one spoiler cast for the original Star Wars trilogy, one spoiler cast for the prequel. We're doing this. Like, freaking Force Awakens is right around the corner. We're doing it
30-something days away, man. What's today's date?
Today's the 17th. 17th.
Oh, it's 1 month.
Dang. We have 1 month to do this. Let's have some marathon.
Battlefront came out today. Quick little note at the end.
Yeah, we interrupted Luke from playing it. He really didn't want to stop.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait to see the movies. Can't wait to continue playing the game.
I can't wait to save my money
for our Star Wars.
I hear you there, John.
Vember.
Star Wars Vember.
Star
Instead of No Shave Vember, it's Star Wars only. Everything Star Wars.
Vember.
Can't wait, man. Well, thank you, Carrie, Luke, Joe. It's been a privilege. Follow us on Facebook. I got into this really We'll see you later. Follow us on Facebook. No, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/.
Twitter us on Facebook.
Twitter us on Facebook.
Instagram us on Twitter.
Snapchat us.
Choose become one. All have become everything. We are everywhere. No, okay.
Snap us on Twitter. Got it.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. All that good stuff. Tell your friends about me and my beard.
Tell your friends about me.
Good night, everybody. That was our show.